And a warm welcome back to TVB News. Those for and against a universal pension scheme stated their case today before the end of a public consultation exercise. And a think tank has suggested imposing a 3% sales tax to help ensure each retiree can live on at least $4,000 per month. Adam Shute tells us more.
As a public consultation on retirement protection nears its Tuesday deadline, campaigns to sway the making of the policy swept in full swing today. Hundreds of people from various concerned groups and political parties rallied at the chief executive's office this afternoon. They demanded that Leung Chun-ying's administration introduce pension for all without screening a recipient's wealth.
A universal old age pension is a fundamental safety net of the retirement protection package, and it is one of the 5 pillars of the World Bank's comprehensive retirement package recommended for various jurisdictions.
Participants accused government of favouring only supporting those with financial needs rather than offering a blanket protection.
I have been working in this city for over 40 years. The government pay for us is only pay back what we have earned for the community.
Earlier in the day, the Alliance for Universal Pension marched to Government House. Holding tortoise-shaped placards, they accused the Chief Executive and the Chief Secretary for Administration of acting too slowly to push for a universal pension scheme. But a rival group of demonstrators said that would be unsustainable, given a steadily aging population. They argued the government should be pragmatic and must not hand out pension to all simply to please some people. Seeking a way out, the Hong Kong Policy Research Institute has proposed a scheme to replace all existing elderly benefits. Under the proposal, permanent residents aged 65 or above, whose monthly income and earning from assets are less than $4,000 per month, will receive a subsidy. It also recommends handing out a monthly rental allowance of no more than $3,500. Adam Xu, TVB News.
Families of those who died in the Lama ferry accident are demanding a new investigation. Last week, the Ombudsman revealed that a marine accident in 2000 highlighted the issue of watertight doors in vessels and questioned why the Marine Department never followed up on it. Families of those who died in the Lama accident believe the 2012 tragedy could have been avoided if the department had done its job to follow up. They blasted the government for not responding to the Ombudsman yet and want an investigation into the matter.
Turning overseas again, former Egyptian President Mohamed Morsi was handed another lengthy prison sentence after standing trial for espionage and leading a banned organisation. 6 others were sentenced to death, including 2 Al Jazeera journalists who were tried in absentia.
Egypt has been in the midst of a serious and often brutal crackdown on dissent since former President Mohamed Morsi was ousted from office in July 2013. Yesterday, an Egyptian court sentenced 6 people, including 2 Al Jazeera employees, to death for allegedly passing documents related to national security to Qatar and the TV network during Morsi's rule. The court was essentially confirming an earlier ruling made in May when those 6 defendants were first sentenced to death. Morsi and 2 of his aides were each sentenced to 25 years in prison for membership of the now banned Muslim Brotherhood. It can also be seen as another life sentence because in Egypt a life sentence is the equivalent to at least 25 years. But they were acquitted of espionage, which is a capital offence. Morsi and his secretary, Ayman al-Sarafi, each received an additional 15-year sentence for leaking official documents. El-Sarafi's daughter, Karima, was also sentenced to 15 years on the same charge. Morsi, Egypt's first freely elected leader, has already been sentenced to death in another case. That death sentence and another 2, life and 20 years in prison, are under appeal. The Brotherhood was banned and declared a terrorist organisation after his ouster. All of yesterday's verdicts can be appealed. Of the case's 11 defendants, 7, including Morsi, are in custody. Amnesty International called for the death sentences to be thrown out and for the charges against the journalists to be dropped. The 2 Al Jazeera employees, identified by the judge as news producer Ala Omar Mohammed and news editor Ibrahim Mohammed Hilal, were sentenced to death in absentia along with another man who worked for a media network with probable links to the Brotherhood. Al Jazeera condemned the verdicts as part of a ruthless campaign against freedom of expression. It called on the international community to show solidarity with the journalists.
Elsewhere in the region, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan is moving to revive plans to redevelop a park in central Istanbul, 3 years after the proposal triggered large-scale anti-government protests. The plans to build a mosque, a replica of an Ottoman-era military barracks and a shopping mall at Gezi Park have been on hold since the issue ended up in the courts. In a speech yesterday, Erdogan stressed his wish to build a replica of the barracks, a mosque, and also an opera house. There was no mention of the shopping mall. 4 people were killed and thousands injured as police clashed with opponents of the plan in 2013. Critics say the development would destroy one of the few green areas of Istanbul, which already has many shopping malls and mosques.
To Poland, where protesters took to the streets yesterday to defend abortion rights. They rallied in Warsaw, denouncing a proposal that calls for the country's strict abortion laws to be tightened further. Abortion is currently illegal except for 3 cases: if the pregnancy poses a threat to the woman's health or life, if it results from a crime like incest or rape, or if the fetus is damaged. Poland is governed by a conservative party that promotes traditional Catholic values. Several thousand people turned up at the rally. They also voiced support for greater women's rights and condemned violence against women. US President Barack Obama issued a warning on climate change during a visit to Yosemite National Park in California yesterday. He said climate change is putting America's national parks at risk and could affect other landmarks in future.
Make no mistake, climate change is no longer just a threat. It's already a reality. I was talking to some of the rangers here. Here in Yosemite, meadows are drying out. Bird ranges are shifting farther northward. Alpine mammals like pikas are being forced further upslope to escape higher temperatures. Yosemite's largest glacier, once a mile wide, is now almost gone. As we look ahead in the coming years and decades, rising temperatures could mean no more glaciers at Glacier National Park. No more Joshua trees at Joshua Tree National Park. Rising seas could destroy vital ecosystems in the Everglades, and at some point could even threaten icons like the Statue of Liberty in Ellis Island.
All right, Tony, over to you for sports.
That's right, we have a new leader at the US Open, but first let's talk about football. The semi-finals of the Copa America are set. The host country, the United States, will play Argentina. Meanwhile, defending champions Chile embarrassed Mexico 7-0 to punch a ticket to the last 4. Here's James Wong.
Eduardo